Greetings! You did not click on the story of the rising VBS star Koba Kodiak Kyle, but instead you have clicked on St. Paul's podcast Beyond the Sermon. During this time, we'll look beyond the words that our pastors have preached out full of life. I'm your host, Michael Sinn, and today I have Pastor Josh with me today. Say meow to the people.
Meow.
And with this, I think you know what I'm going to go with in this next
Yes.
part is, would you like to share some exciting news with our listeners?
Yeah, this last weekend we got a kitten, our first family pet, and he is adorable, and he's very well behaved, a good balance of energetic, playful, and also just very loving. So, yeah,
I mean, I hope Jar Jar will be a good cat for you.
close. Vader.
Ah. I mean, I had guessed it was a Star Wars.
Yes. Yeah. The people at the store said that since he was only 2 months, they're like, yeah, you can rename him. It won't be any problem. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that is very exciting. I'm sure the kids loved that as well.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody, approval rating from everybody.
So if you ever need any birthday gifts, cat supplies would be a good one for you.
I wouldn't say no.
All right. Well, are you ready to dive into your sermon a little bit?
Let's do it.
Okay. So, I always feel weird asking this question, but I think it's appropriate since we talked about your sermon a little bit during the week. And so, how were you when writing your sermon? Were you satisfied with it? Or, like, were you happy with the finishing product?
It really would have depended on when you asked me. It was probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I was like, oh man, this sermon is just going to bomb. And then it changed. And I think the reason it changed is because, and I think this is true of every sermon, the more specific you get and the less broad you are, the better it's going to be. And I really zeroed in on what I was going to focus on. And I think that once I kind of threw my weight behind that, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
It just made it better. And I will say, when I was preaching this, so like I go over my sermon two to four times before preaching it on Saturday night for the first time. And normally it's like by 11 o'clock I'm able to, like, I know most of what I'm going to say and I don't need to look down as much. I felt like that was the case even Saturday for the most part, and that's more rare. So I felt good about the product and the delivery, so that was good.
Okay, good. I remember, yeah, you were like, ooh, I'm not for sure. But I was like, okay, I'm good. I mean, you seem confident on Sunday, but you also try to be confident every time you preach on a Sunday.
Yes,
so that
yes.
makes sense. Question 2 is the world full of problems?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that your question?
I mean, it's leading into my next question so what was the problem that you were trying to highlight to the congregation with your sermon?
Yeah, so I started by setting the tone by talking about the context that Peter was writing to, and I think I don't know if this will be a question you ask later or not, but what shocked people, I think when preparing the sermon, I think it shocked me a little bit just to realize who Peter was writing to, Christians who were being persecuted even by somebody as awful as Nero, and yet he was telling them to be good to them. And so that was what I was trying to focus on, and that's not treating others poorly, but living differently, and how we respond with our actions and our words. Because, even as a Christian, when I see somebody who is a Christian act or respond a certain way when somebody does something to them, I am almost like offended. Like, man, that's really bad that you would respond that way. And I'm a Christian. And so I think people who are not Christian, what's going through their heads? And the truth is, what's going through their heads about Christians really does matter because, as Peter says, we are the ones who are calling people out of darkness into his marvelous light and to share the wonders of what he has done. So that's ultimately the problem that I was seeking to identify.
Okay. Now, this next question I'm also very, very curious on is, do you like math?
No, I hate it.
Oh, okay. So that means you probably don't enjoy counting either.
I'm fine with counting.
Oh, okay. Well, at the 8:15 service, do you know how many times you said the word squeeze?
Oh, man. I'm going to guess 17.
It is not. It was actually more than that.
29.
Lower than that.
24.
Lower.
21.
Higher.
23.
Lower.
22.
22 times from the service that I sat in on for the 8:15. You said squeeze 22 times.
Oh, man.
I mean, I did prepare the people in my children's message that you were going to say the word squeeze a lot.
You sure did.
Yeah. So, yeah, that correct answer was 22.
Wow. That's a lot.
It is. Now, moving on, was there any part of the text that, like, you just raised your hands to the sky and ask, what in the world are you talking about, Peter? I'm sure God made it easier for you to write this down, but you just made it more complicated.
Yeah. Well, for me, in preparing this sermon, it was getting very specific was the problem that I was wrestling with. And, I kind of referenced it before, but because I also referenced before, the more specific you get in a sermon, the better it's going to be, right? Because what I didn't want to do, and what I was kind of starting to do when I was writing this, is getting it to just be a sermon about treat others better than they treat you, basically.
Yeah.
Which, there's plenty of good sermons there. It's something we need to hear. But that just, how it was turning out was not what I was wanting. It was too generic. And so I really wrestled with, okay, do I focus on your initial reaction? It was one of those where I'm like, this is kind of a weird thing to preach on. But then the more and more I thought about it, the more I was like, well, that is a part of us in a way, a part of our actions. Does God have something to say about it? Yeah. Okay, well then I think I should talk about it then. So it was more about like just getting on board with the I'll say the weird topic that I was preaching on. That was the biggest thing. Once I again threw my whole weight behind that, then it was actually pretty easy. But it took a while for me to get comfortable with that. I did wrestle with that for a while.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I'm sure that was a little hard and a little challenging for that, that's for sure. Next question. Did you have another direction that you thought about taking for Sunday?
You bet. Now it did make a quote unquote cameo, but honestly, this will be in either a future sermon or a future sermon series, and I'm going to be going through this with the teaching staff next year. So if any of our teachers or anybody that attends our regular weekly meetings, if any of you are listening, this is going to be a foretaste of what's to come.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert, yes. So there's a book called Unoffendable, and this was given to me, an audio book version of this book was given to me for pastor appreciation. And aside from the Bible, I have never had a book that has changed my life so much. Like it truly changed, like not just how I saw it, but like Anna noticed and made comments about like how I was acting differently. And I recommended this book to my father-in-law. He read it and it changed his life. And my sister-in-law overheard that conversation and she got it. I gave this book to Anna for Christmas. Anna recommended it to a couple of her friends, and just like it really, really is life-changing. And the idea is just as it sounds, is not taking offense. And so I did reference it, that when we see ourselves as not being owed anything, not deserving anything, in a way that makes us unoffendable. And that is right from the book. And honestly, if you want to get a head start, like I said, it's either going to be a sermon or a sermon series on it, or a book study, Bible study, whatever. But I would recommend you get it now. It's called Unoffendable by Brant Hansen, and there are a number of different versions. Get the most recent version; it's got extra stuff in it. But yeah, that was in the back of my mind, and it even though I only referenced it once, it kind of helped shape my sermon overall.
Okay. I mean, anything that's going to help out with just everyone's daily life, especially with everything just going on right now, too,
Mm-hmm.
is always going to be beneficial. Now I'm going to use a little pun here. Is there anything that squeezed at you that you actually, that you personally got out of your sermon?
Yeah, I think really kind of not anything specific, but kind of the general principle of what I was preaching about, because I am somebody who I react quickly to things. I
Oh, so you got reflexes like a fox?
like something.
Okay.
I am prone to, when something doesn't go my way, throwing up my hands and getting huffy, and like with you know with my kids who I'm trying to teach and train to be patient and to be slow to anger. It's like, what are they seeing from me? And and so that was pretty convicting. And so I've already been trying to implement the two things that I talked about in the sermon about how we can actually change our reaction. I've been trying to be mindful of that at home as well.
Okay. I mean, that's good. So, yeah, the kids are seeing change. Anna saw change from you as well. So, yeah, this sounds like it made a really strong impact on you.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything that you had to nix from your sermon or to cut out so that the people were able to celebrate Mother's Day sooner?
Yeah. So, and this too is going to make it into a future sermon at some point. But I recently heard a scholar that I follow. His name is Wes Huff. If any of you name drop there, if any of you know him.
I thought you were going to say Jesus.
Him too.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good too. Okay.
Yeah. But he talks about how there are 5 gospels. You know the 5 gospels, right?
Yeah. Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, and Thomas. Or are you talking about Judas?
No, and no.
Not those. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
The 5th gospel being you. And
No, I'm Michael.
so I really like that though, that idea. And I know I've shared this part, but be careful because you might be the only Bible somebody ever reads.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the idea of like you being a gospel, right?
Okay.
You sharing, like you are the way that the good news is shared to some people. And that fits exactly in line with my message and with what Peter was getting at, is how you live even in the face of adversity, even when you're squeezed. It has an impact. It has the ability to make people question why they're like that, and maybe even question their own actions that could lead them to Jesus. And so yeah, you are the 5th gospel. It's a good thing to remember as well.
Okay. My final question that I have for you is, well, you focused on squeeze, 22 times to be more specific. Did you have to squeeze Jesus someplace in your sermon so that he was there in one way, or was he still the center of attention in your sermon?
Well, I hope he was the center of attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, and both with his words from the gospel message, the gospel reading, which, the parable of the unmerciful servant, unforgiving servant, whatever you want to say, but also just thinking about his response to him being squeezed, to evil done to him.
Mm-hmm.
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And then tying those two things together, how when he was squeezed with the pressure, with the weight, however you want to say it, of our sin, he forgave our massive debt. And so, it starts with, as I said in my message, humble repentance, because we have to see ourselves as being forgiven that massive debt. Otherwise, we have no hope of being able to forgive somebody else when they have sinned against us.
That's true. I mean, that's how people are going to identify us, is by our actions, and that action of believing in Christ to forgive us like he forgives us every day.
Mm-hmm.
All meant to that. Well, so those are my 8 questions that I had for your sermon. Is there anything else you want to touch up on before we move on to the deer in the headlights question? Or did we think we covered everything within those 8 questions?
I can say this because I didn't come up with it. I still chuckle thinking about that joke that I opened my sermon with.
Oh, yeah.
About squeezing the kid in the grape costume a little wine. They'll let out a little wine. And during the 11 o'clock service, I was calming down, and then I looked over and I saw Will Brown laughing, laughing, and it kind of set me off a little bit more. But yeah, I can say that because it's not my joke, so I don't sound like arrogant or anything like that. But I adore that joke.
So now you wonder if he's going to squeeze one of his siblings if they let out a little wine or not.
Yes. I don't know if this is the most PC thing to say or not. This could be cut if it's not. But I can say it beyond the sermon. But that joke is like a stepchild. I didn't create it, but I'm sure I'm proud of it.
I mean, I won't cut it out of the podcast, but if I get enough complaints, then I might have to go back in.
All right, redact it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll just put a little that like do sound over that. Yeah. All right. Well, you chuckled at that. Let's see if you chuckle a little bit at my next question that I have for you.
Oh boy.
What did you have for supper last night?
Shrimp stir fry.
Okay. What was in your stir fry?
Rice, broccoli, shrimp, and barbecue sauce.
Okay. Now, could you imagine any one of those 4 items becoming 4 feet tall?
Am I supposed to think of one or like?
I mean, which one of those would you want to hold if it was 4 feet tall? I'll change that.
I guess broccoli.
Broccoli?
Although that would really smell.
I mean, you're a healthy person then if you pick broccoli.
Well, I don't want to hold a 4 foot tall shrimp.
I mean, it's dead. It's not alive.
Yeah, I don't. I eat shrimp more because it's healthy, not because I enjoy it. So.
Oh, all right, fair enough.
You know what? I'm gonna change my answer to rice.
Okay, sounds good. So let's see if you continue to pick rice after this question.
Oh boy.
In this scenario, you're on a 20-foot circular platform in a 1v1 battle. And you have to choose one food item that will grow 4 feet tall and will aid you in battle. And so the goal of this battle is to get the other person off the platform. And if you win, congrats, you move forward. However, if you lose, you then have to eat that food item that you picked for 1 month, and that's the only food you can eat. So what would you pick that would aid you in battle, but also if you lost, you would eat that for the only meal for a month?
Oh.
And we're going to say this is for the month of December since it's 31 days. We'll make it longer, can't say February.
You always come up with unique questions. I'll give you that.
Thank you. I try to make it more interesting for you and the listeners.
Well, I'm gonna go with a defensive strategy here. I'm gonna plan on taking the loss. Not that I'm gonna aim for it, but I'm gonna go with the worst case scenario and what would I want to eat for a month.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
What type of chicken? Like a chicken leg, a breast, a thigh, a wing, chicken nuggets,
Well, to continue with
or Chick-fil-A?
the opposite. To continue with the theme of wanting to be a little bit healthier, or well, I guess that's not a theme yet. But thinking defensively, thinking about like having something good, and then not wanting to just be dead after the end of the month, I would go with grilled chicken. So I'm playing defensive and the long game for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chicken it is. All right. Well, good to know. And that is also going to be our show for today. Thank you for coming on the podcast, Beyond the Sermon. Next week, I will be interviewing Pastor Smith. I'm your host, Michael Sinn, and have a great rest of your day, everybody. Goodbye.